Hi, I'm Karen, Content Manager at Pan Intelligence. In this short video, we're going to look at creating a card chart and we're going to recreate this example you can see at the top left of the dashboard. Firstly, let's start by creating a new chart, and over on the Edit Chart screen, we're going to click straight onto the chart menu and select Card. So once we've done that, we can see that we've got two separate sections to the screen. The design area at the top, which is where we build the card, and the preview area at the bottom, which is how it will look before we save it back to the dashboard. Now, card charts are slightly different to all our other chart types in the fact that they don't actually need any data at all. So we could create a card that just contains text and maybe an image, but we don't actually need to use any data object. The example we're going to create though contains a data object and also some regular text. So let's go over to the data menu and we'll choose the object that we want to add. We can see the object sitting at the top left here, just like it would if you were building a bar or a pie chart, for example, but nothing actually is appearing on the card at the moment. And the reason for that is because we need to give the card somewhere for this object to sit, and we add a text item in order to do this. Now, don't worry at this stage if you're not sure how many of these text items you want to add, because we can add them as we're going through building the card, and we can also remove any that we've added in error. We can even change the order of how they appear on the card as well, and I'll show you how to do that as we start building. Now, there's actually two different methods to add a data object onto a card, and the first method we'll look at is the most simplest and probably the most accurate method, and that involves clicking on this content menu at the top right, and we can see our object name sitting here, and all we do is click on that and it adds it directly to the card. So in our design section, all we'll see is the object name, but when we look at the preview area, we can see the result of that object, so we can see the number that it represents. Now, the other method that I mentioned involves typing the object name in yourself manually, and this may have problems because you need to make sure that the text matches exactly as the object appears in the data source, and the case is also accurate. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. First thing I need to point out is if you're manually typing an object in, you must enclose it in curly brackets. So if we click into that text item, we type the curly brackets, and then we type the object name and finish it off with curly brackets. And once we press the tab key, it looks exactly as it did when we just added it in manually by clicking here. Now, if we spell this object name incorrectly, or the case doesn't match exactly, so if I just change that to a lower case e, for example, we can see that now it doesn't recognize that object, and all that's happened in this instance is that it's actually added it to the card as text. So it just thinks that what we've typed there is regular text and it replicates it in the preview section. So if everything matches, I'll just put that back to the uppercase E again, we'll see the results of the object. So that's the only thing that you need to be aware of if you're manually typing the object name. Now, at the moment, the figure down in this preview section is not really very useful because we don't know what that figure actually represents. We know because we're building the card that it's the employee number, but any users of the dashboard are not going to understand what that figure is. So let's add another text item, and we're going to add some regular text into here. So once you've typed the text and you press the tab key, you can see your text appearing in that preview section. Ideally, I'd like that text to appear above the number, so the way that we do that is we click on this text item and we use the up arrow to move it to the top of the card, and now we can see that it appears above the number. If we've added anything that we no longer want to appear on the card, we can quickly remove it by using this icon, and we can also add as many other text items as we need. There's also nothing to stop you adding everything into the one text box, but by doing it separately like this, it means we can format them differently, and I'll show you how that's going to look when we get to that stage. So talking about formatting, there are different methods that we can use to format, and we can actually format the whole card as one. So every element of formatting that we choose applies to the entire card, or we can format each text item separately. So let's look at formatting the card itself. And we can see over on the right hand side here we've got background colours, which is the background of the card. We've got the text colour, the font size, etc, etc. So let's apply a background colour by clicking this drop down menu, and then we'll just choose a very light blue colour. We close that panel again by clicking the cross at the top, and we can see the other formatting options. So while we're in here, I'd like the same colour text to appear in both of these text boxes. So the easiest way to do that is to format it at card level. And let's do a very dark blue colour, and then we'll close this panel again. Now I'd like different size text to appear in both of these text elements. So instead of formatting the card, I then move on to selecting one of the text elements, and I'm going to format this one to be 26 points, so we can see that change reflecting in the preview area. And I'd like this one to be even larger, so let's increase this one to 72 points. Now, if you've added any formatting options that you no longer want, to quickly remove them, you can click this eraser icon, and that just reverts them back to what they were before you applied the formatting. And it does one undo at a time, so it's very similar to doing an undo in Word or Excel, for example. It just undoes one step as you're doing it. So let's put that back to 72, and I'd like to make this bold as well, so I'm going to click on the font weight and apply bold to that, and then close this panel. Now finally, all I need to do is save this back to the dashboard, and we're going to give it a unique name. Now, because that background is still an orange colour, it means that I've used something with that name previously. So let's just add a little bit more text. And once that background colour's disappeared, I know that I've not used that name anywhere else in the dashboard. So all I need to do now is click the save icon, return to the dashboard, and there's our card chart. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video. Join us again for our next videos, which are going to show you how to recreate these two examples, and they include a few more elements that we've used on this one. So I hope to see you again soon.